Ratchet & Clank Size Matters is the first time that the series has gone off the PlayStation 2 and onto the PSP. But the game hasn't really changed all that much. Ratchet & Clank has always been a very action-focused platformer with plenty of weapons and shooting action, and you get a lot of that same stuff on the PSP. In Size Matters, the game opens with Ratchet & Clank on vacation. They're hanging out on the beach, and this little girl walks up and she wants them to act heroic so she can snap some pictures for a school paper or something like that. So Ratchet runs off to go crush some robots, but of course the girl gets kidnapped and that sets them off on their adventure. Ratchet & Clank on the PSP actually looks a whole lot like Ratchet & Clank on the PlayStation 2, which is great. It was always a great looking game with a lot of personality, and the personality of the characters and the environments really comes across on the PSP as well. But the translation isn't without its flaws. The big thing about the PSP is that it just doesn't have enough buttons. So you don't have a right analog stick to control the camera, so you're left with two different camera control schemes. One lets you rotate it using the shoulder buttons whenever you want, and the other one just tries to keep it locked behind Ratchet or Clank at all times. Both of them have their issues, and you find yourself being maybe hit from the sides and the back a little more than you would if you had a right analog stick. But it's hard to imagine them coming up with a better control scheme given the limitations of the PSP itself. The big strength of Ratchet & Clank has always been in its weapons, and the weapons are, again, the star of the show here. You encounter a number of different types of guns, like your typical kind of laser weapon. You get a rocket launcher that also shoots electricity. You get a suck cannon, so you can suck up enemies and shoot them out at other enemies. A glove that drops bees that attack stuff. So it's got a good variety of crazy weapons and normal weapons. Some are more effective than others, like the rocket launcher is really useful, the kind of laser pistol is really useful. But then there's the concussion gun, which is the game's kind of shotgun equivalent, and it's pretty much useless. It shoots this really wide kind of vertical spread that almost always misses most of your targets. The weapons can be upgraded in the game. As you use them, they'll earn experience and eventually upgrade into more powerful forms. And that's pretty cool. It gives you a reason to kind of keep using your favorite weapons, though some weapons are going to be better suited for different circumstances. Size Matters will take the average player maybe around 7 or 8 hours to complete, but that's a pretty straightforward shot through the game. If you want to go back and collect every little piece of armor and purchase every single weapon and upgrade all your weapons and play all the mini games, that's going to take a little bit longer. On top of that, there is a multiplayer component to the game. You can play 4 players either locally or online over the internet. This has a variety of different modes, starting at deathmatch and getting into some more 2-on-2 team-based stuff. And this stuff's interesting, but Ratchet & Clank's strength has never really been as kind of a shooter, a pure shooter. So getting away from the platforming elements really kind of makes it feel a little one-sided, and this stuff doesn't work out quite as well as you might think. Ratchet & Clank Size Matters gets enough of the Ratchet & Clank experience onto the PSP that is definitely worth playing for fans of the series. But even if you haven't played those other games, this is a charming platformer with some pretty good shooting, and it all controls reasonably well. So if you're looking for a straight-up action game that's going to keep you busy for a little while, Ratchet & Clank Size Matters is definitely something you should look out for.